Let's get it. So this video, I wanted to start off with Double Sharingan KAKASHI. Now, I know I haven't reviewed the original KAKASHI as of yet, which is weird because something keeps happening to my video clips, but that's that. But KAKASHI, hands down, is a say less character. He's KAKASHI of the Sharingan Eye. Like, there's nothing more that needs to be said. His design is a 10. The feel of KAKASHI, a 10. From the way that he fights all the way down to like his chakra jump, it's KAKASHI. The most notable thing to me about KAKASHI is the way that he throws his kunais. He always got so much style and swag as he's throwing them out. Now, another thing I love about this guy is his movement speed. Whether you just running or jumping off walls, executing jitsus, his speed is amazing. Now, let's go over to his jitsu selection. For this KAKASHI, it's perfect. Now, I know many were disappointed to have him as the first DLC that was available, or as the DLC in general, because you feel as though it was a lazy jitsu and there wasn't much put into it. But I would actually challenge that. I think all of his jitsus are very useful. Out of the 3 jitsus that KAKASHI has, the only one that I would say which would probably be not too good would have to be his ultimate jitsu. And I'll speak about that in a moment. But first, let's look at Kamui Lightning Blade. So not only is it an attack, it's also a counter move as well. The best thing about this jitsu is that it'll go through just about any attack. Majestic Fireball, yup. Naruto's Barrage Punch, yup. If there's a move that you keep getting hit by an opponent, equip this to your character. The moment they execute that, execute your move, and I guarantee you will be the victor 99.9% of the time. And lastly, it lowers the defense upon contact, giving you more of an opportunity to cause more damage to the opponent you're facing. Now on to Kamui itself. What is there not to like about this jitsu? You basically become untouchable, it increases your speed and your chakra jump distance significantly, and charges your other ninjutsu at a faster rate while it's active. You have to love this move. This is almost equivalent to Itachi's Amaterasu that you just have to love. You can't help but to like the move. This is one of those. Okay, for example, right here I'm going up against this one guy who has Sasano. He's a defensive character. You see he's getting the best of me. So what I need to do, I need to get out of there and regroup. Put Kamui on, jump in the sky, I'm out of his sight, he can't catch me, my lightning blade's charged up, I come back in for the attack. This is the opportunities that it gives you when you use the Kamui with KAKASHI. Now on to his ultimate jitsu. I like the jitsu, but as you can see right here, man, that there's 3 people there, but it only hits 2 of them. It's not a hard jitsu to dodge. I think if they increase the tracking on the jitsu, it'll be a lot better. Where the moment you see this guy come out with these shurikens, you know that you're going to die. But when he comes out with the jitsu, you know there's a possibility that you can actually get away from it. That's the only downside to it. But overall, man, I love KAKASHI. He was a wonderful, KAKASHI. He was a wonderful playthrough, and I still use him till this day and recommend anybody who plays the game to give him a try as well. OBITO. Now, OBITO was a character that was better on paper than he was in actual game. Now, as far as like clothing and style, yeah, he gave you the OBITO appearance. But as far as like playthrough and movements and all that, I didn't really feel like I was really playing with the OBITO I seen from the series. Now, I think that he was good as far as being defense, because literally on the battlefield, that's what he is at that moment. And I really wanted to like OBITO overall because I like his fit, I like his design, I like all of that, man. But I kept getting handled like monkey bars or a bicycle or USPS package, man. Like, I couldn't do anything with this guy because he didn't really have any jitsus that were like attack worthy. He had one that Uchiha formation that puts a defense around you and your other people, and the sad part about it is it can easily be knocked off by like kunai or a shuriken or something like that. It doesn't stay on for like ninjutsus or a combo attack or anything like that, which kind of makes it useless because the recharge time is so freaking long. So what I'm basically saying is the Uchiha formation should be able to endure kunais. It should be able to endure shuriken and last for something a little bit more damaging like ninjutsus or heavy combo attacks. Now I see why they gave Kakashi another Kamui. It was one that was more upgraded than the one we get here, because this one basically makes you untouchable, but it doesn't seem to last as long as Kakashi's, and it doesn't give you any of the other benefits that Kakashi's get. His just basically reduces the amount of time it takes to charge a chakra jump, and that's trash. Like, that's nothing. So when you're fighting with this guy, you don't really have any real strong defensive moves or attack moves to really defend yourself. The best defense you have is your ultimate jutsu, and you have to wait for that to build up. Now I know that there's a lot of negative things I've said about Obito, but there was one cool thing that I actually found about him that kind of makes it worthwhile, and it's this. Did you see that? Now I only caught that during my editing, where he re-enters the battlefield using Kamui, which is dope because that's so like Obito, right? Where something goes wrong, he disappears and he reappears somewhere else. For them to pay attention to detail and to add that in here, it kind of makes his other jutsus being sucky alright for me. Not fully, but I can give a pass in certain areas. But I'm not gonna lie, I did think this was a fluke in certain areas. So what ended up happening was, when I went back into battle, it didn't take long, I got hit with an ultimate from this guy, and I actually ended up dying again. So what I did was, during my editing, I slowed it down again and see, once I respawn, did I have that same type of re-entry? And voila, the exact same thing, right? Attention to detail. I love how they did that, and if you listen closely, they even have the sound to go along with it, or sound effect rather. Now, speaking about his ultimate jutsu, this is the last one that we didn't cover yet. We did briefly, but now we're about to go more in detail about it. It's a jutsu that is widespread. It fits his character very, very well. The only issue is that he shoots it upward in the sky instead of straight out, which means that characters will take damage, but they most likely won't die from it if they're not right in the center of the eye of the swirl. And that's a strong negative effect. When you execute an ultimate, you want to be guaranteed a kill if it makes contact. But enough about him, and on to Kaguya. Now, Kaguya is an interesting playthrough, right? As far as design, I think they kind of nailed it. I think her hair needs to be more hair-like and less garment-like. But other than that, I think her design is pretty solid. As far as feel and like movement and things of that sort, I don't like it. She's too bulky. She takes up too much of the screen when you're trying to navigate, move, dodge, use evasive skills and all of that. I just couldn't get with it. Now, one thing I do like about it that they did add into the game is that when she moves, she has that little, teleporting grid that she's on, right? And I think that's really dope. And we'll come back to that little added detail a little bit later on a more specific area. But overall, with design and feel, I don't like it. She's just too slow. She didn't give me anything as far as in combat, man. Even with her jutsus, I just really wasn't a big fan. Now let's talk about her first jutsu, 80 God's Vacuum Fist. Now this jutsu is pretty unique for the healers, right? Because it kind of functions as Naruto's like barrage punch attack. And it's cool or whatever. You can extend the duration of the attack by continuing to press the button to do like more punches and things like that. Then it's a final blow that is given that knocks the opponent back. They can't sub out of it. So to that degree, it's good. But apart from that, that's kind of it. Now going on to her second jutsu, Murderous Bone Ash. Now this is a trash jutsu, right? I think in the idea it was better on paper than being executed in the game. So you shoot a projectile out from your hand. I believe it's a bone. It's in the name, right? You shoot a projectile out from your hand. If it hits the opponent, then it causes continuous damage. If it misses the opponent, then it goes to a different dimension, a portal, and then it comes back out to seek the target again. But if the target is moving, it'll basically miss the target. It is just horrible. The tracking is bad. It's just a waste of a jutsu. Now moving over to an ultimate jutsu, it's where you take you and other players into a completely different realm. This is definitely a game changer. I would probably rank this one as probably the best ultimate jutsu in a game, just because of what it can do. Not the damage or anything like that, just for creativity and them actually sliding it in here. For the fact that she gets to change from the ice realm to the lava realm or fire realm, whatever you want to call it, was highly impressive. I mean, it's just dope to be able to see something like this in the game. That's the highlight of Kaguya. The only problem is it takes too long to activate it and to get it. And as you can see, I don't even have it in my current match because the match ended before I was even able to obtain it. Now I understand why it takes so long to get, because it's so beneficial and can turn the tides of a game, but ultimately, man, you at least want to be able to get it, you know, quick enough where you can at least execute it once per match. Now, I do have one more thing positive to say about Kaguya, and then we'll move on to our next character. When she respawns in after being defeated, she respawns in like OBITO, but with her own uniqueness. That teleportation grid that she has, when she respawns in after being killed, she respawns in right from that grid, the same way that OBITO did. Just like that. So all around, Kaguya is a no for me. I will not be using her again, even with her ultimate jutsu and her dope re-entry after being killed. I pass. At this point in time, I believe people are going to start throwing rocks at me, right? Because you get negative character after negative character after negative character. I don't believe we needed this Minato. I really don't. I'm so tired of seeing Rasengans, Master Rasengans, the Fox Rasengan. It's just Rasengan out at this point, right? And his move, Celestial Air Slice, Type 0. It's a good move, right? Where if a person is in close range, you'll always hit them with it. They can block it, but it'll always make contact, right? They can't sub out of it. They can only sub out of the last hit. Simple and easy to use, but it requires no skill whatsoever. If you throw it from a distance like I just did, you'll see it hits no one because it does not have any tracking. It is a jitsu that I just didn't think was really necessary. We just really didn't need it. I think the Minato that we had was amazing, and this one just was a waste of space, in my personal opinion. Now, on the contrary, for his second jitsu, which is Flying Raijin Guiding Thunder, that's actually a pretty good jitsu. For any allies that are inside, you get a close range attack buff and a defense buff, plus it blocks any projectile. Wonderful for capturing the flag or base battles, or even the barrier mode, which we get to go into for like random battles. So this jitsu is actually useful. I don't think we had to make another character to give the jitsu. They could have just put it out as a $199 US type of jitsu like they've done other ones, and it still would have had the same effect, right? Now, as far as the design and the feel of Minato, yeah, it looks like Minato, it feels like Minato, all that is great. Still not compared to the first one. He's still amazing, but this one still feels good nonetheless. Speaking about his final and ultimate jitsu, like I said, man, definitely unnecessary. It takes so long to charge up. The animation is great, but making contact with somebody is probably not going to happen because you can see it coming from a mile away. So it's a no-go for me. But if you do use this jitsu, it does add a healing effect while it's being used and restock your jitsus. So that's a thumbs up. Plus, another addition is the simple fact that he has a respawn entry. So when he dies, he pops back in as a yellow flash, as if he teleported and wasn't defeated. I love that effect. Now on to our last and final character, Nagato Reanimated. I had a blast playing with him, and this is my first time using him, right? Because I thought his jutsus were garbage. I just did not care for the guy, man. I would prefer for them to give us a different type of Nagato, just not this one. But I have to recant everything that I said and felt about this character. I haven't had this much fun playing with a character since probably Deidara. Like, Nagato is a true range character, and I love the fact that you were able to execute and utilize him just as it was intended and meant for him to be, right? So going into his first jitsu, Sheik Shoto. So I actually like this jitsu. This is a jitsu where the chameleon comes out, you go invisible, they can't lock on to you. It does slow your movement speed, but not a noticeable amount. And you're able to creep around for like capture the flags, base battles. I love using it for that. Or I think they did a buff later on where it increased ninjutsu damage. So if you pair this with Majestic Fireball or another attack that causes a lot of damage, it'll just increase that even more. It is a wonderful jitsu to play hide and seek with. I absolutely love it. Now going over to his Ghetto statue, which is his ultimate jutsu. I love this jutsu. It has a staggered and stun effect, so anyone within range will be caught, and it's a one-hit kill. But the only downside is it only leaves 1 HP left, so if you get hit, breathed on, or sneezed on, you're absolutely dead. So it's best to keep a healer by in case there's someone who's lingering or in case you miss. Now his Kakageko Jitsu and his Ultimate Jitsu are wonderful Jitsus. I absolutely had a blast playing with those and using them. Now on to the other one. This is where I loved, man. You trigger it and you also get 2 different move sets, right? You can shoot rockets up into the air where the projectiles will fall down, or you can shoot a rocket straight towards the enemy, blowing them back, breaking their guard if they're blocking. It's just absolute fun. So if you see, I just put back on my cloak, and I'm just basically staying out of sight, out of mind. And all I know is that I'm aiding my team from a distance. I love playing with this guy. He's fast, he's smooth. I love the feel of Nagato. Plus in hand-to-hand combat, Nagato was good as well. Overall, he was a good playthrough. I love everything about this character, the feel, the design. They did extremely well, and I was very satisfied after the match. Whether we won or we lost, he's just a fun character to play with. Now I understand why other people played with him and annoyed me so much, because it's just fun. And with that being said, this is the end of the video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. And with that being said, I'm out.